Citizens, what's up? It's President Awall here, bringing you daily Star Wars Force Arena content. This is quite possibly the best Han Solo deck I've ever put together. I shared one with you on the channel about a week ago that was primarily made for 2v2s. This deck can work for both 2v2s and 1v1s. I'm going to do some gameplay here where I actually show you how this deck's working in 1v1s, and it's basically adjusting to what I'm seeing in the current meta. Lots and lots of Empire tanks coming at you with Vaders and Agent Calluses that are basically charging in towards your tower and just straight up taking it out and suiciding to take down your structure and making it very difficult to come back after early momentum. This deck is meant to stop those sorts of tactics as well as have tools to be able to deal with any number of other Empire decks along the way. I have been experimenting. I know you guys have been asking before I go deep into this deck. You've been asking for Empire decks. I've lost a good 500 rating points. I was almost up to the next tier, just experimenting with Empire decks. Agent Callus is coming in the future. I can promise you that. In the meantime, I'm going to show you this Han deck, which is working extremely well. Couple interesting things. I'll come back and revisit it here in a moment, but I've got lots of solid tank options in my Han deck, just like I normally do, with MLC3 Light Tank, arguably the best card in the entire game. You've got your Wookiee Warrior tank with almost 1200 HP, and then I've also got Chewbacca 5 cost at nearly 1800 HP. But between those three tanking options, those are basically the core of this deck and the core of my ability to be able to push into lanes and deal with various situations and control aggro. However, I've thrown in a C10 stun grenade into this deck to help counter those tanks that come charging in on my tower. Let me just show you this deck in practice. There's a couple other things I want to talk to you about this deck. A couple other decisions I made. You saw that I have Marauders there as well as the 3-cost Trooper unit instead of the 2-cost Rebel Trooper unit. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And I kind of want to show you those units in action. But essentially, these 3-cost troopers give you additional range. Each unit has additional HP, and overall they do more damage per second than just dropping Rebel troopers. However, you have a lower troop quantity that comes along with that. So if you're up against an enemy that is focusing on those units with single target damage, it makes it a little bit more difficult to keep them up and running and to get the payoff from it. And you've got one additional energy cost versus Rebel Troopers. Anyway, we'll talk about more of that here in a moment. So we'll see if I can actually win some games at this while I'm recording. I just went 3-0 with this deck, and I felt like it was really consistently performing against a bunch of different Empire decks. We'll see if I can actually pick up some W's on this recording. I like to just record and show off the deck and talk about it and give you the most accurate possible picture, like real picture. You guys see me post losses on the channel all the time. I think losses are just as important to see, if not more important to see, in a YouTube video and a strategy and tips video as a win. Anybody can just show a win. But if you can show losses, you can show how, you can basically avoid making mistakes, etc. So I just got stunned there by Vader, which is an interesting move on his behalf. And let's see if he gets more aggressive and moves in on this tower. This is kind of what I was talking about a moment ago, and I probably should have taken the opportunity a minute ago to deploy I need to go ahead and actually use some of my energy to deploy my trip mine so that it would go on cooldown. And Chewie is here. He's probably going to pull me in, which is fine. I can back up and still be okay. And I'm going to drop Chewie way back here in the back, and it looks like my bottom lane is getting focused. It is an AT-ST, and so what I'm going to do, okay, Vader's dead. I don't know exactly what he was thinking about there, but I'm going to shift my momentum to this lane, and I'm going to start pushing it. Going to drop Trip Mine here for the inevitable counter. He did stun me, which is fine, and we'll see if that single target damage hits me or not. I really need to back up and drop. Here's those troopers I was talking about earlier. The troopers are able to throw down some really nice range damage, and that additional range versus Rebel troopers is really, really solid. So I'm going to drop down some Marauders here to protect the other lane, and I've got some momentum to move in on this tower with. I'm going to stun Vader and see if I can kill him. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Got him. And hopefully I can take this tower down before I die. It's very, very close, but as you can see, I have the advantage, and you can also see why I've got the stun grenade in this deck. I'll see if I can pull off a W here or not. I'm really not sure if I can, to be perfectly honest. It's very, very difficult to get a W versus Vader as Han Solo. he counters you very, very heavily. If that Vader tries to run, he's going to die. There it is. Rebel Troopers here. These Rebel Troopers. I actually forget the name of the unit. I don't know why I can't recall it right now while I'm recording. But that unit is, the 3-cost unit is basically getting a lot of work done. They're very good at countering AT-STs, which is good stuff. I really need to drop Chewbacca down here. He pulls all the aggro, but unfortunately I'm not alive to give that single target critical damage I need to take Vader out. He dies, which is really, really fortunate, and I'm going to continue to just defend this lane as well as I possibly can. So, whoa, you see that lag spike there? Whoa, was I stunned or something? I don't know what that was exactly, but I'm going to drop down my trip mine here for anything that kind of tries to come across this. Those Rebel Troopers with that beautiful range, going to stay well out of range of this probe before it explodes, which is great. And I need to be very careful. I'm going to continue to pressure this lane, and AT-ST is coming. So I'm going to drop down Chewbacca. He is going to taunt Vader, and then as soon as the taunt is done, I'm going to stun Vader to guarantee that he can't take actions against this tower. Let's see if it works or not. It doesn't look like it worked that well, to be perfectly honest. But we'll be able to take this turret down. If I can keep this turret up and running, I can win the game. And there it is. Turret destroyed with the pressure I had in the other lane. So there you go. You know, I have way more success playing as Rebel than I do Empire in this game. And I'm probably going to need to focus on Rebel as much as possible with my videos in the near future so I can get up to that next tier. I was so close, and I saw all of the requests in the comments from you guys were, show me Empire decks, show me Empire decks. I hear you guys. I'm really trying. You guys can see my rating having dropped, trying to make Empire work. But let me just talk about it. So what's the name of this damn unit? It's Rebel Pathfinders, not Rebel Troopers. Rebel Pathfinders. Okay, sorry about that. The Pathfinders is the 3-cost unit. So let's talk about Pathfinders. So you get 2 of these 300 health at level 7. They have 7.5 range and 86 damage per second. Now we're going to contrast that with Rebel Troopers, which have 175 health. You get 4 of them, and they do 33 damage per second. So obviously, if you do the math here, you get about 190 damage per second total, essentially, with the Pathfinders, with that card, versus about 120, 130 with Rebel Troopers. Obviously, you're paying more for the Pathfinders. But you also get that additional attack range with Pathfinders, an additional 1 attack range, and each unit has 300 health, which makes them less vulnerable to really, you know, to like Dioxis grenades and that type of thing, where they can stay up and running and at least take action while they're taking area of effect damage for a longer period of time. So I've been experimenting with these, and I love the fact that that extra range allows them to drop further behind the light tank, as well as the Wookiee warrior and the Chewbacca, to provide that supporting damage. It works really, really well. As you saw from last game, I'm able to stun those kind of tanking units that come after you, like the Agent Calluses, like the Vaders, like any number of other units that want to get closer to you and get really, really aggressive. And if you have the Pathfinders behind you as Han Solo, you can then drop that stun grenade. Your own single target attack damage as Han Solo is extremely high, especially if you get lucky and you crit a decent amount. And then with the Pathfinders, that's 190 damage per second. That's a really, really significant amount of damage from a really decent range back. They're kind of like 2 little mini 4 LOMs, basically, without the electrocution ability that comes along with 4 LOM. I like them. They're really, really good. I'm kind of preferring them with Han Solo over Rebel Troopers. Simply because I have 3 really, really strong tank options, and that's really the reason why I feel comfortable with the Pathfinders. Let me know what you think of Pathfinders versus Troopers in the comments below. I'd be curious to know kind of what's working better for you versus not. So Bosk looks like he wants to hit this top lane, so I'm going to go ahead and pressure the bottom lane. He's dropping probe there. He really didn't have anything good, if you will. That's generally a sign that he didn't have anything good to deploy. And then I'm going to drop Marauders down and see what happens here. I think Bosk is going to, looks like he's deploying, okay, IG-88 here on the back line. Wow, I can't move at all. I was just completely stuck. And I'm going to drop Pathfinders in the top lane to deal with that. And I'm very, very low health, so it looks like I'm going to need to go ahead and heal up here. And, yeah, this is definitely time to use the X-Wing, friends. And we were just going to... Oh, God, the stun. It just happened way too late. Well, at least I stunned something. That stun came in way later than I wanted it to. And a little bit of lag there, and also just a little bit of misplaying on my behalf, to be perfectly honest. Lots and lots of Dioxis grenades here from the enemy, which is fine. I can go ahead and start stacking these trip mines, which is giving me passively, if you will, an energy advantage as he tries to push in on my lanes. And we're going to drop Wookiee Warrior here in the top lane and show that we're going to be a bit more aggressive there. And what I'm actually going to do is drop Pathfinders right behind. And those Pathfinders are a relatively safe pick if you're looking to provide supporting damage, and which I am. And I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to back up here. Bosk is going to want to, of course. Let's see if I can crit him. I got him. And I'm going to X-Wing here and clear this out. Drop Marauders in this lane to continue to pressure it, and I need to deal with ATST. Probably should have kept my Marauders to deal with ATST, even though Wookiee can get some work done. And there we go. We took that down, and what we're going to do is drop Pathfinders here. That lane is now going to be pressured. Bosk is going to have to deal with that, and it looks like my mine is probably going to deal with this probe in the way that I want. So I was able to take down top turret, which is great, but bottom turret is going to be problematic. Dropping down light tank here. I don't have any of my lower cost units. Need to stun to try to stay alive. Can I get Marauders out in time? No. So he's got 2 towers down. Top is very, very vulnerable. And I'm in a pretty rough position here. Hopefully ATST is not... Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Deploy the Chewbacca. What's going on here? And let's see if he tries to pursue. He does not, and he's now outnumbered, which is great. I'm going to drop my Pathfinders here as well as Marauders here to try to clear this out. And I'm in a pretty rough position. This damage over time is going to force me to pull back where I can't necessarily... I'll drop my tank here. We'll see what we can get done with Bosk. I don't know what he was doing there. That was terrible. But I'm going to drop this, and I'm going to see if this tank can get the damage done that I need. No, no, no. No, it looks like this tower is going to go down as well. Not much I can do there, and there was the overtime victory. And maybe I should have just defended top instead of pressuring bottom there. Let me know what you think. You know, I think that my loss in this game was due primarily to the fact that I was slow to react on the ATST in the bottom lane. I should have deployed my Marauders a bit more quickly there. I deployed them to the top lane, and sure, the Marauders did contributing damage for that top lane for me to end up picking up that turret, but I didn't have them to defend on the bottom. It's a trade-off. Like, the amount of damage that they do, and let's talk about that choice with the deck, the amount of damage that they do is actually quite significant. About 150 damage per second with these units. They're close to 300 health, and that's why I've chosen Marauders over Twi'lek Warriors. Don't get me wrong, Twi'leks have, about 130 damage per second combined, but their health is so incredibly low. They die so quickly. And I want a bit of a tankier unit where it takes at least a shot or two, if not 3 in some cases, to take down something like a Marauder that has close to 300 health, depending on what unit is shooting it, versus Twi'leks, which are basically one shot by anything. And that little bit of extra HP makes them just a little bit more durable. They can take an extra turret hit, etc., and get a little bit more value out of that card. And considering that this deck, you know, if I swap in Twi'leks versus Marauders, I only get just a little bit of a increase in total average energy cost, I'm okay with that trade-off. And it's a similar bit of logic here with Rebel Troopers versus Rebel Pathfinders, right? I've chosen Pathfinders. They're more expensive. You get more value for your money, if you will, from those cards. Or you pay a little bit more and you get a little bit more of a premium unit, and that's something that I'm looking for. I'm finding that the kind of way lower cost kind of throwaway units, you're only going to want to play those if your deck is, you're just struggling with your average energy cost per card when you're building that particular deck. You know what I'm saying? Like, if my average cost was something like over 3.5, it was like a 3.6, then at that point I would consider swapping in a Twi'lek, swapping in a Troopers instead of a Pathfinders or Marauders, so that my average is good. I think that a nice healthy average energy cost is somewhere in like the 3.3 range. I consider that the healthy mark. If you go below that, you're a fast deck. If you go above that, you're a slow deck. 3.3 I think is about is about middle of the road. Let me know what you guys think about that. But for me, in my experience, that's pretty much right there, like 3.25-ish, 3.3-ish is basically middle of the road. So 1 victory, 1 loss. You know, like I said earlier, this deck is designed to deal with that sort of tankier meta, the tanky charge-in meta. And when I'm going up against enemies like Bosk, you know, this deck doesn't necessarily directly counter decks like that as effectively. So I need to be a little bit more careful with my decisions here. I need to maybe play a little bit more defensive against a Bosk, which it's just problematic because he's a very defensive character by his nature, right? So I'm just going to drop Marauders here in the top lane just for fun. And, ooh, he just shoots me. Oh, no. What was that? Stunning me. Stunning me. Insult to injury with that stun. And whatever. I'm just going to drop down Rebel Troopers here. I don't want to hang on to this energy for too long. And okay, he took them out. Sounds good. Going to drop Chewbacca here in this lane. And I'm going to be very, very careful. With the X-Wing here, hopefully, yes, I'm able to get a lot of value out of that. Unfortunately, he's got these heavier troopers here. The Pathfinders should be able to do a decent amount of damage to them. He's going to run over this mine, and I think that that's going to kill those units outright. It does. So beautiful. And those trip mines just give you so much value, which is why I like to play Han so much. So, going to be careful here. I don't know exactly what he has planned for me, but I'm going to drop down the Marauders to kind of slide behind this, and Pathfinders as well. Let's drop Pathfinders and see what we can make happen. Oops, I'm going to stun here, and unfortunately, everything got cleared out, and I got focused down by that MTV light vehicle. Notice the Pathfinder here on the back line doing that really solid single target damage, which is great. And I'm going to drop down Trip Mine, and that should, come on. Oh, wow, look at that lag. You saw, or was I stunned? Actually, I might have been stunned there. That might not have been lag. So that Bosk, going to pressure him, but MTV-7 light vehicle does a lot of damage. You cannot ignore the amount of damage that it does. It does a significant amount more than a unit like, okay, is he defending here? Than a unit like the MLC-3 light tank. I really love that Bosk ability to kind of hold those melee units in place. I'm going to see if he drops down a little bit more here before I use the X-Wing. Doesn't look like he is, so bam. Going to get some beautiful value with that. And Chewbacca taunt, gorgeous. Going to stun him and see if I can take him out. Oh, I got counter stunned. That was really nice counter stun. I'll give it to him. That was a really nice count. Back. Don't want to get shot by all of that. And I'm going to drop down once again the Pathfinders here. Okay, this is my opportunity. Time to move in on this tower. And now I need to be a bit more... I'm wondering, should I be aggressive or more conservative? I'm going to focus Bosk a little bit. Drop that stun grenade. Bam, he's dead. Yes. And this is going to be difficult for him to come back. I think that his heavy gunners here are going to do a really decent amount of damage to my tank. And this is my opportunity to basically just defend for the win. Okay, there it is. So 2 wins, 1 loss. You guys can see the functionality of the deck. You got to see the Pathfinders in action a little bit there. You got to see the functionality of the stun grenade with Han Solo. He's not just a defensive character. The stun grenade can really help you out, and hell. Alright, let's stick around and open up this victory pack and see what we get. Why not? Why withhold that from you guys? So let me know what kind of Han Solo decks you guys have been playing that work. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's see if we get anything good here with our final card. Okay, I'll take the Twi'leks. I'll take it. And I've mentioned this before, and I'll just reinforce it again. Anytime you get any cards, I recommend just upgrading, no matter what. Buy credits with your crystals and upgrade your cards. Cool. I'm going to throw up on the screen right now my avatar. Click that to subscribe to my channel for daily Star Wars Force Arena content. Thank you to everybody who's turned on notifications. Notification Squad. 2 videos over here. I'm releasing these content every day. My videos are awesome, so click to watch. Thanks for watching. Adios.